Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm sorry my voice is a bit raspy today. I streamed and was very excited yesterday, so my voice is a bit gone today. But I just wanted to record a very quick voiceover for the beginning of this video to kind of outline my goals for this drawing is to focus a bit more on stylizing this. I did draw this in bed, which is why the recording is of my screen and not like this. I wasn't mad at this drawing, or I also wasn't super happy with it anatomically and perspective wise, etc. The drawing makes sense. There's no mistakes, quote unquote, but I just feel like I want it to be more stylized. I feel like this looks a bit too, I don't want to say basic, but I feel like the shapes, especially like the jacket, the hair, there are a lot of shapes here that we could maybe exaggerate and simplify a little bit. And that's what I want to do today. So I probably should have drawn the background on a separate layer. So let me start by just removing this. Also, this will be a new video format technically, with me recording audio as I draw, instead of my usual where it's like I record a voiceover. This feels a bit more like a stream, except that I don't have my chat that is here to distract me. But no, actually, if you guys ever come on my streams, I love chatting to everyone, so that's really fun. But I guess this is more of a talking along my process as I'm doing it. I am just testing formats for what I think could potentially work for YouTube. Lot of experimenting, and having fun, I guess. So let's see how this goes. Okay, I've separated the background to a separate layer. I can actually merge these guys together. Actually, maybe if we put a little blur on this layer as well. Yeah, that's kind of cute. It adds a bit of a depth of field. But okay, we'll leave it for now. We'll leave it for now because I want to focus on this and seeing how I can stylize this drawing a little bit more. This is one of my focuses this year as well. It's one of my art resolutions that I talked about in my artist resolution videos, is that I want to focus on stylizing my art this year, which is essentially mainly like emphasizing shapes, like making the shapes more interesting and more prominent in a way that's like almost immediately recognizable, right? So I'm going to use the liquify tool for this for a bit to kind of start exaggerating and simplifying certain things. So I feel like already by making the jacket, oh, that was weird. By making the jacket, but I feel like I want to make the jacket more cropped as well, like kind of, obviously this is going to mess around with the layers a little bit. But let's maybe do a quick red line of what I imagine to be under this body, right? So her shoulder is here, her back is probably here. So there's already quite a big exaggeration here on the thing. But I feel like her body's, the action line, probably something like this. It's like an S shape would be nice. Maybe I should make this small. Oh my god, I am drawing on the same layer. Okay, let's make this smaller. You know what? Maybe we'll draw a little bit more out of this. I feel like that's probably what I want to go for. So if we were drawing the torso, feel like hips would be here. This is basically me self-analyzing my art. I think also what's missing in this specific drawing is the perspective. There isn't really much perspective going on. So it's why I want to emphasize the shapes more instead. Also, I've recently really been struggling. So for those that don't know, I don't usually draw on my iPad, which is why my art style is so inconsistent. I feel like I have an art style when I draw on PC and an art style when I draw on iPad. Like, these two drawings actually that I did for my artist resolutions, I don't even want to lie, I actually really it doesn't look like my art, and that's probably why I don't like it as much. This is more similar to what I draw on PC. I feel like it's a lot in the line art. My line art is so different when I'm drawing with a pen tablet versus drawing directly on a display screen. But you know what? We live and we learn. We live and we learn. I feel like, yeah, I feel like this drawing would look a lot better if we actually had like drew a bit more of the bottom. And I kind of want this S shape, like our legs. Okay, but she kind of needs a little booty, you know what I mean? Like she's, you know what? I'm really sad I've lost the ref because I feel like it would make my life a lot easier right now if I could reference the ref again. Let me make this lower opacity. There we go. Let's see. Right. For example, I want to crop this jacket a little bit more. I like making the torsos on my characters a little bit shorter. But then I feel like I want to bring this up as well. Let's try that. Let's do it this way. Let's do it with the lasso tool. Let's do it just like this, and let's just bring it up here. And that means this kind of gets brought up as well. I really like how big the jacket sleeve is, so I don't want to change that too much. But I really like this pen. I think this is a default. I think this is a default brush, the Narinder pencil in Procreate. So I wish there was a way for me to view my history on, you know what, I don't want to add, this is also another thing. I want to simplify my art style more, right? So let me erase these. Let me erase these. Let's erase, you know what, let's also turn on the reference guide here. Oh, go ahead and pop that right there. Why not? Okay, that's maybe a bit too exaggerated, like realistically. So it's kind of like I want to see, you know what, it's like this. It's like I want to see this body curving. Like if there's the torso, that's probably better. Let's see. Right, and let's see if I can exaggerate this somehow. My art style tends to be more on the like semi-realistic side, and that's kind of like what I want to, like I want to keep that obviously, but at the same time I want to play around so that I can simplify my art style more in more interesting shapes. I feel like that loses the sense of how big this jacket actually, like how puffy it is. Don't want to lose that. It's also like a thick material, right? So it's kind of not as foldy as you'd expect it to be. It's big leather jackets. You know what, let's leave it for now. I feel weird not having any. Okay, that's a little bit better. So I feel like the main thing you want to do when you're working more on focusing on shapes is focusing on the proportions, right? If you have one big shape here, a medium shape here, and another medium shape here, you kind of want to find that balance of exaggeration between big, medium, small. And that makes me think, I feel like these proportions are still very, very realistic, right? So if I wanted to push that even more, let's duplicate this layer. If I wanted to push that, I would probably make the legs a bit smaller, jacket even bigger, but maybe I should push it on the front side as well. The short side. Like this. Okay, okay, that feels a bit more balanced. It's probably this shape here that's kind of throwing me off. I feel like it should be more. I also wanted to add the layers and the clothes that she's actually wearing. Like, she has a t-shirt underneath, you know, maybe. I feel like jeans usually have this like side seam, right? Pocket would be like here. This would be like the therefore this would be kind of jeans, right? Like this. Okay. Right, I don't think it's that stylized yet, but I feel like it's already a little bit more interesting than what we had before, right? I actually have I downloaded what we had originally. So, see, already I feel like just by adding the rest of the body, we have more shapes going on. It makes it a little bit more interesting to see, right? So, I think same thing would happen if we actually just bounce this over. Because if we add the book, right, then we also add a little bit more perspective in the drawing, which just, I feel like, you know what? I used to be such a perspective hater. I used to be like, oh my God, I hate drawing perspective. I never want to draw it. Perspective really does add another layer of interest visually, right? It's why photography is beautiful at the end of the day, whether we like it or not. It really does add more depth to the drawing. And here I feel like I say that. I am bad at perspective. I am truly, truly horrendous at it. But you know what? Can only get better whilst drawing and practicing. So let's try and make that real. I feel like we could also make the book bigger. I feel like that would make it a little bit more interesting. There we go. Right. Her hand. You know what? I know that this wasn't in the reference. Like her hand was cropped out. So I'm just gonna, like, how would you hold a book? There you go. This is a perfect example. I feel like I would hold it like this, right? So from the side, it would look like my thumb here. My finger is like going inside, right? I think that's a good way to go about it. Let me have a bit of tea. Oh my God, my boyfriend got me an Ember mug for Christmas, which has been an absolute lifesaver, by the way. Like, I think I have drank cold tea for the good majority of my life because I just forget about it. Once I start drawing, I just genuinely forget about it. So let's see. I also feel like, I feel like that makes it already a little bit even more interesting, like bringing the legs back and bringing her back. It kind of, the S here is nice, isn't it? Makes her look a little bit more laid back. But I also don't want it to look wrong. So I think what I'm going to emphasize is the bottom of the jacket. Like this part should still technically sit overall on her spine. But then we can just make it bulbier at the back here. I also think this could be better. Like this. Okay, what if I added the background back in? Okay, that's what I thought. I feel like it would have to be more like this. And of course, now there's a bunch of empty space at the bottom, but I'll keep that for later. To be honest, for example, I drew the background in because I was like, just this drawing itself, its composition was just not giving enough. I really like the mirror in the original reference. I feel like that added another level of like depth, but I feel like this looks way better now by itself. Now, one thing I do want to kind of look into is maybe facial proportions, right? I feel like this doesn't look like my art. Once again, just does not look like my art. Here is a more recent pic of my art, but I feel like this isn't necessarily my end all and be all, right? I kind of want to find a balance in between these two. I like how I like how I drew the lips. I don't know if it's because it's giving like she's wearing a nice dark red lip or a nice brown, dark brown lipstick. I like how it looks, but maybe let's just play around. If I made the eyes bigger, I kind of don't want that too Disney-y look. That it's personal preference, nothing against the Disney look. I think it's just my own personal preference is that I feel like whenever I draw eyes really big, it just doesn't work with my art style. But I think here the issue is actually not the eyes. I think it's this part of the face that is a little bit too realistic, potentially. Like anime faces are very much like, you know, like this, right? If you had to simplify it, it's often like more simplified like this. Let me actually just follow the same curvature. It's usually like very almost same line from here to there. So I'm thinking, but I think it's also the length of the face. Let me see what I can do here. How can I stylize it in a way that doesn't make it... Oh! Interruption by the boyfriend. Be right back. Okay, I was just looking for some inspo and references whilst I was on the phone with Lewis, you know, multitasking and that. I do absolutely love Tammy Moon's art style. I feel like this is also a side profile, so it works. And I'm already like noticing how, you know, more prominent the forehead tends to be and how the line almost is like that, right? But I would say Tammy Moon definitely has also a more semi-realistic style, and I'm gonna look at some other artists that I like, that I've been obsessed with recently. Oh my god, absolutely love this artist as well. I don't know how to pronounce their name, Hamafugu. Really love their style as well, but I don't think I've seen a side profile from them, at least not recently. So maybe let me keep looking. I literally send myself I send myself tweets all the time of artists or things that I'm like, oh, this is cool, this could be useful. And I just keep looking for it. I keep going back to these. I know that like Twitter has bookmarks. I just don't like using bookmarks. I just like sending it to myself. And then I just, oh, Yukina has a pretty cool art style as well that I really like. Have the okay, there's a side profile, so you can see, right, the shape is definitely way more simplified. The eyes are way bigger as well, and it's always this part, right? It's very much like this kind of simplified shape, and the mouth is like almost actually more emphasized. Let's see if I did that. The main difference I would say like that makes my art probably look more semi-realistic over anime style, kind of like this one, is probably the size of the eyes, but also how I love drawing lips. I draw pretty prominent lips, so it's like another difference. And probably chins. I feel like I usually do emphasize chins as well. This makes her look a little bit like she has an underbite. So let's see. I talked to my friend Starlin about simplification. She's my friend that gave me feedback for literally this drawing. That's also on the channel. Uh, but and she said basically it's drawing lines in more like in one stroke over doing like 1 and 2, for example, right? If you want this to be simplified, do it in one line. And that's what I've been trying to do more, is less lines, less lines. Okay, I don't want her face to look too sharp at the same time, though it kind of works for this style as well. Let's see. So the main difference is probably the length of the nose bridges as well. Maybe I should try, because I do draw, especially from the front on, it's like my noses look very, almost like there's no bridge, right? I don't often draw bridges for noses. So maybe if we did something more like this, it would look better. If I do it this way, let me focus more on what I'm doing right now. I think now I'm gonna bring down. Maybe I don't like how rounded this is. I also feel like because I do usually draw a bit of a chin, right? You can see here it's like 1, 2, 3. Like there's a little indent that I do like to draw. So okay, wait, that's kind of cute. I kind of like that. It's a little bit more stylized. Also, oh my god, wait. I also remember sending myself a little ear reference, ear breakdown. Oh my god, Taco, absolutely goated artist. I 100% recommend following their Instagram or Twitter. They literally post very simple breakdowns like this really often. And I feel like this is absolutely a mistake that I do all the time. But oh my god, I wish there was a side profile view. Is that you wouldn't actually see this much of the ear, right? If from the front on you can see the ear, that means that technically from the side you would only see like something like this, right, in perspective. But I always like drawing the full ear out almost more for like shape, right? I'm like, this makes the ear's shape look a lot more interesting, but it's technically wrong with perspective. So well, I mean, I could maybe just hide it under her hair, or just have, you know, a little peek of it. Because you would technically, I feel like you'd see the back of the ear basically as well, right? And I'm just like, that's so hard to draw, oh my lord. But you know what? This is what I mean, but I want to think more about how I draw this year. Like, there is logical solutions, right, behind these choices. And I kind of want to figure them out to make my art look more correct and better. It's like I want to think about my decisions. Like, okay, rotating this in perspective, you wouldn't see like the usual stuff. I mean, I would probably put hair there, realistically. Okay, that shape kind of does make more sense, and it doesn't create this awkward triangle that felt a little bit random, at least to me. So maybe this is a nice little fix. I don't know if I want to color this drawing. It's kind of growing on me more and more. I thought it was just going to be a very quick sketch, but it is growing on me. Let me simplify the hair as well here. Maybe if I don't draw so many strands, it will also look a little bit better. Oh, that's kind of cute. Little forehead. Do I want to try and make the eyes a little bit bigger? Like in this way, for example. Because I feel like the ratio is still that I do have bigger eyes. Let me pull this right here. If I was trying to do the same proportions, right? Like tack on top of the head there. I feel like my nose would be smaller, considering I'm looking at that. I do feel like the nose would be smaller like this. And I feel like like this. Obviously, I do want to draw some hair strands here. You wouldn't actually necessarily see this much. Okay. Let's redraw the eyebrow. This is another thing, right? Your eyebrows don't go all the way down here. It stops here actually. Because again, think about it, right? If you can see this much of your eyebrows from the front, if you tilted the head to the side, you would technically only see about like this much, right? Like, so let's try and do that as well. But obviously anime eyes, anime proportions make a little bit of a difference. I like drawing like more soft looking eyebrows, so that actually also means not as many lines. So I would probably draw the lid would be there. Then like this. I have thinner eyebrows than that. My OC at least has thinner eyebrows than that. Oh my god, why has this suddenly become so complicated? Okay, that's not the worst. Okay, I'm not mad at that one. I'm not mad at this one. I do like how simple these shapes are, and I feel like I've definitely went for a little bit more looser strands in this drawing, which is also probably what's making this drawing look different. So let's try and bring those like more shape looking bangs back. Like they look more like actual like bigger strands, bigger shapes. There we go. I do like how big this shape is. I don't want to overly like this exactly. Definitely not a realistic shape, but I really like how it emphasizes the balance with the head of how big this part is and kind of counterbalancing it on this side. But maybe, just maybe, let's try it out. Let's try and do something a little bit less detailed. See, like without that, it just feels unbalanced, right? Like the moment I removed it. Like maybe something more like this. More shaped. But maybe also, wait, what did it look like before? Okay. I also want to make sure that this doesn't look like a weird gap, right? Like I feel like there would definitely be another set of level of bangs in here. Maybe like this? Right. See the difference? Just the fact that there's less, it's not even the amount of lines, right? It's just that there's less amount of, I'm purposely omitting details in here in the lines. Like instead of having like, you know, like strands like this, we're going for something a little bit more subtle. I'll maybe add a little tiny strand in there though to find the balance. Big, medium, small, you know? There we go. Like for this one, I probably want to make this single bang. Or do I want to add a third little peak here? Maybe a little peak here is fine. So the reason why I am recording a voiceover over this drawing specifically is that this is almost more like a study and a practice. And I thought you guys might enjoy to see what my thought process is as I'm drawing these, right? Like, why am I making this decision? Why do I want to make it more stylized? Or how am I going to get to the point of, you know, where I want to be with these? And how I use references to learn. Like, for example, I'm not just copying it, but I realized, oh, look at these bangs. They're definitely more shaped, right? They're not so many strands. There's not as many strands. And I take that away and I apply it to my own drawing. And I feel like sometimes seeing that breakdown can really help. So I'm going to try and do the same thing here. Again, with the hair, where let's focus on shapes. This is what I wanted to do to begin with. Shapes. Okay. I feel like I want to redraw this part. So okay, let's think about this. Like right here, what doesn't work for me is like, it doesn't make sense. What is this chunk of hair doing here? If this is the top of her head, right? If this is the head inside and her hair is being pulled this way, like into this like semi half ponytail, what is this hair here? If I was to draw a line like this that made it look like the ponytail stopped here, then this part just doesn't make sense. But that doesn't mean that this is wrong, right? It's why almost each individual line you draw can really like change the way your drawing looks. So let's see how I can make this shape work, because I like how big the hair is. But you know what? Maybe this shape is wrong. Maybe this shape is kind of ruining it, ruining the balance. What if we made it more? What if we did like this? Like kind of trying to mirror this shape here. And here, let's see. I'm trying to think of the other drawing I have. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna import, I don't know, do I now have one of the both? Okay, this is still a whip for both of these, but yeah, this shape, right, kind of goes in and out. Maybe that's what words. That's what we want. Let's see. Yeah. Oh my god, love that. Love that. Love that. Wait, pause. Love that. Love that as a shape. And I feel like it looks more like my character as well. Okay. I'm also going to remove some of the details we have in here because I feel like it's just adding unnecessary information. There we go. Now I'm trying to figure out how I want to make this shape more interesting looking, right? Or how does it actually make sense? How does this shape make sense? First of all, probably this here. There's like a bit of hair strands here. Or to be fair, do we? Oh no, it's Misky, my little dude, my little dude. That if the bottom is this heavy, the top maybe needs to be a little bit heavier as well. how's this shape? Let's try and focus on the shape. I'm gonna make the outlines. This is another way to create more emphasis on what the overall shape is to add more thickness, right? And instead of just going back and forth with a bigger brush, I like adding variation in my lines by simply just going over them again and adding line weight this way. Okay. Now I have to find the balance between the bangs and this, right? The bangs do have a little bit more detail to them. Like there's mini strands inside these, right? So I want to make sure this is also reflected. So is the shape of the hair here? Also, hair always has layers, right? So for example, is this a first layer and then everything at the bottom is another layer? Or what is it? I kind of feel like this should be pushed back more, right? Like I feel like the ponytail wouldn't be this far forward on the head. Am I right? Yeah, okay, that already looks a little bit better. Like the bow isn't where your bangs would be, right? It's kind of more like at the back of your head. Okay, yes. See, sometimes I just have to think a little bit more. Like realistically, where is that bow's position on a head? And that does make a lot of difference. That does make a big difference. At least I think it does. See, and I feel like sometimes it's that. Sometimes I'm just like, I just have to think a little bit more. I just have to use my little brain cells a little bit more. Instead of just drawing what I think looks right, I'm like, okay, the bow should be at the top of the head, but where should it be at the top of the head, right? Kind of these little brain thoughts is sometimes what I miss out on. Sometimes I just like, I get lazy and I don't think about it as much. Okay, now something I personally don't like when I draw is parallel lines. Like, see, this line, they're not useful. I'd rather have something that goes the other way so that it breaks the line shape or what I'm expecting from this shape. But I'm gonna see how I can achieve that, or even like that, right? That's already like not parallel, it already looks cuter. So do I want to maybe bring this strand down here? But then see, I don't want the parallel there either. So do I just... But then this part feels a bit too parallel. Maybe if I... Okay, but also let's think about gravity, right? Like realistically, the hair would fold inwards like this here rather than outwards. But I'm keeping it because I feel like that's a design parallel. It doesn't make sense for the hair to do that, but I feel like the shape looks similar to this one, so it kind of like almost makes sense. Does it make sense? Honestly, guys, I do talk out of my ass, okay? I don't know if I'm making the right decisions, but I'm going with my instinct, and my instinct is telling me that that is the right decision, so let's just hope for the best. But also, let me know in the comments if you guys do like this sort of live commentary as well. I do probably have to cut out some of the audios when I eat my words. But other than that, this does feel just like a live stream, but I'm just talking to myself. Which, I mean, technically on a live stream, I am talking to myself as well, but you know, it's the subtle differences. I'm also still trying to figure out a way where if I decide to, because I usually draw on stream, right? And I'm thinking about how I could draw on stream whilst still. Do I think this shape here is a little bit awkward? What is up with this? Okay, let's maybe. Again, what I feel like if I had to simplify my OC's hair, right, is that it has this shape at the top. It has this almost like 1, 2. There's always this sort of little double shape. And even if here, technically, I would say like realistically from perspective wise, you wouldn't necessarily see it, I still want to include it for the sake of balance and design choice, right? Of like, oh, this is the same design because it has this like jewel double layered, like hair splitting into half, right? Does that make sense? Oh my god, words make no sense. I hope that by doing YouTube and voiceovers this year, I'll also get better at talking, at speaking. Kind of like presentations. I wanna, maybe that's why I need to practice is presentations. Okay, right. You know what, let's do a quick, see, there's already a lot more oomph. Does that make sense? You know? Or maybe that's just me. Maybe that's my personal preference, right? Maybe you prefer this version that's a little bit more realistic. But I feel like the edits we've already made make this drawing look more charismatic, if that makes any sense. And I feel like there's still something a little bit unbalanced about the face. Yeah, maybe it's just this. Maybe it's just adding a little bit more width to it. Because now that the ear isn't there to elongate that drawing, maybe that's what's missing. Bless the liquify tool, oh my god. Maybe it's the bangs are a little bit too far for. Okay, if you think about it this way, right? There's the cranium. That's not too far off, to be fair. That isn't too far off, but I'm thinking maybe we can push the bangs just a little bit. Honestly, sometimes the tiniest like difference in like proportions can really make a big difference, can really make that change. Okay, now I do feel like this ear is too thingy. Wait, okay, wait. Let's control Z. How did it look with the liquify? How did it look without? Okay, I like it more with the liquify for sure. But you know what I mean? Like these subtle little changes can make such a big difference, which is really interesting. Like my OC's face is definitely more squished and wide, but I don't know how to do that on a side profile. That's really complicated, I'm not gonna lie. And I feel like this part of the hair still feels a bit too simple compared to the rest. So maybe it's here. Maybe it's this shape here. I need to... you know, add a little... yeah, see, like just break it down. Break it down. But I do really like this pen. I really do like this new pen I started using. Okay, or usually if I do something like this, I usually add another little dent. Okay, let's just do this. Because I feel like... maybe? I don't know. Maybe we just do it like this so it doesn't... because see, here, again, what I personally didn't like is how this, and this all feels like the same width. So maybe I'd rather just nothing there. Okay, and I do have my little... you know what? I added these, right? And I was thinking it's kind of like if you were wrapping a ribbon into a chunk of hair and just... but I don't actually know how that works. So it's why I can't draw it well, because I'm like, I don't actually understand how... this is why I really struggle drawing braids, guys. I actually don't know how to braid my own hair. It's something that never made sense in my brain, okay? It's something that literally never made sense in my brain. And I feel like for that same very reason, it's why I struggle drawing them. I'm just like, if I don't actually understand how something works, I find it a lot harder to draw as well. Ah, yes. Okay, maybe there's the other disconnect, is that this needs to be like here, all the way up. Maybe? I need to... okay, and I feel like this is maybe unnecessary right now. It's like you can't tell what that is. Do you guys think I should bring it up? Like my thought okay. Also, this feels like it should be like that, like more from behind the bowl. Let's add a little bit of line weight here as well. Like for me, it's here, right? Like if your hair was being, this is the thing, right? It is meant to be a half up, half down. So it's like these bits of the hair would be pulled up, and then like somewhere down here is normal hair just growing out. But I need to look at my own hair and see what that parting looks like, because it just does not look good right now. Of how to draw. You know what? I'm just gonna not draw it. Simplification. We choose what to erase. Right. How long is this recording right now? How do I check that? I am recording, right? I am, yes. Oh my god, 50 minutes, really? Oh, crap. Longer than I thought. But maybe this is a good point soon. Do I want to do colors? Okay, no, but see, chat, look. Sometimes you just have to not lock in to what you originally, does that make sense? Like sometimes you just have to go back in there and not be afraid to change the decisions you made first. I feel like, at least personally, that's something that I struggle with. Words are so hard, and my voice is a little bit raspier today. Oh, I just realized the sun's gone down quite a bit, so the camera's color looks quite different. Oh well, it looks a bit yellow, but we'll figure it out. I'll see if I can edit it in post-production. I also wonder, sorry, random thought. I do wonder if my Twitch chat would like this setup as well, where they can see my hands literally drawing. Maybe this could be a worthwhile setup to consider for streaming as well. But I don't like drawing on my iPad. I actually don't. But I have been drawing on my iPad more because I share my PC with my partner, and he has been addicted to Marvel Rivals, which I totally understand. I've actually really been enjoying. This is our office room, and we technically have like a sofa bed in the back. And I've been like sat there drawing or doing work, editing videos whilst he's been playing. And it's actually really, really fun. It's actually really fun to see that. And I'm thinking, thoughts. Okay, you know what? I'll leave those thoughts for after I finish this. But, so this was a 50-minute drawing session. Oh my god, that went by way faster than I expected it to be. My plan was literally only to draw for half an hour today. I was like, oh, I'm a bit busy today, so maybe I won't draw as much. But you know what? Sometimes, this is what I mean. Sometimes you just have to get started, and then life takes you places. Yeah, I think there's just one too many lines in here, and I want to simplify it. So let's do that. But I also want the shape to be slightly... like this. Okay, tangents, biggest enemy. Let's make this one not touch the face. And that way we also have a little bit of a forehead coming through. Oh my god. You know what? This is probably my main thing in my art, is actually, if you think about the dome on her if you removed her bangs. To be fair, very accurate. I do have a 5 head as well. Maybe that's why I draw such big heads. But yes, like I always draw, like if you removed my old VTuber, guys, oh my god, you know what? I don't need to bring this back on YouTube. I do not need to bring my dark past on YouTube. My old VTuber had the biggest head ever. It was honestly hilarious. When I removed the layers, so for those that don't know, like VTuber models are all based on layers, right? Like layers stacking up one on top of the other. If I removed all the hair layers, it would be such a big head. It would be so embarrassing. I think Lewis is home. Okay. Welcome home. Hello. Right. I think I will call it here, since I will go do some other things I have to do today. This was literally meant to be a 30-minute session, but look at this, guys. Look at this. Myself. Me, myself, and I recording. I am just recording a voiceover. No, I am just talking to myself.
Did you decide what your plans are?
Nope, but I will decide when I finish this. But yeah, okay. Cute. I'm actually a lot happier with this now. A lot happier. I will probably color it. Maybe I'll do this on stream today. Maybe that's what I'll be doing on stream today. So, yeah. Right. Oh my god, that's changed quite a lot. See how much it's changed, how much we stylized the head, actually, because that's how it was based. It was based on the original drawing, right? Like, that's when we did the red line. So we've kind of done what I wanted to do, like making the torso shorter, making the head a little bit more stylized. Yeah. Okay. Kinda proud of myself for today. I feel a lot better about this drawing now, which boosts my own ego and I feel better. But no, okay. I'll leave it here for today, and technically I will be drawing a little bit more, but just on stream. But for now, I have not figured out a way to record the same thing at the same time whilst keeping the audio separate and all the chat boxes and stuff and alerts. So I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. But no. Okay. Bye bye everyone. See you tomorrow.